Wow, I didn't expect to like this movie so much. A couple little things I wasn't a fan of, but all in all, Disney's Wish really caught me by surprise. The movie is full of whimsy and fun. Some of the musical numbers are definitely very iconic. And I also think the movie represents sort of a new generation of Disney that's more modern. It's emerging. There's a new take there on villains. Look at Magnifico. To me, he's like Adam Levine from Maroon 5 if he were a silver fox and was secretly evil. But let me not get ahead of myself. Before I tell you all about the movie and my thoughts about it, let me tell you a bit about the movie's synopsis. Now, here's the part where I give you a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, go away. I said if you haven't seen the movie. You still here? What are you doing here? I'm about to give you spoilers. Okay, if you're still here, you're on your own. So Disney's Wish is an animated film about a young teenage girl named Asha. Asha and her goat Valentino. Come on, it wouldn't be a Disney movie without a talking animal sidekick. Asha's mom, Sakina, and Asha's granddad, Sabino, all live together in a Mediterranean town called Rosas. We learn at the very beginning of the movie that the founder of the town, Rosas, had always had a dream that he could grant people their wishes. So he trains his whole life to become a sorcerer and grant people their wishes. Every so often, alongside his queen Amaya, King Magnifico grants one villager their wish. When Asha literally auditions to become Magnifico's apprentice, she tries to convince Magnifico to grant her granddad's wish, to which he refuses. Sabino's wish was to inspire future generations. By the way, we find out around this time a little bit about Asha's father and that she lost him at a young age. We also find out that Magnifico is basically holding everyone's wishes kind of like hostage and using them to keep people complicit and to keep himself powerful. Basically, he won't grant any wish that he deems as a threat to his authority. And we clearly have a narcissist on our hands. So let's be real, any old wish would threaten his perceived authority. So our young protagonist takes it upon herself to set her village's wishes free. And she does that with the help of a magical star, a talking goat, Asha's really supportive group of friends, and some very precocious farm animals. I really liked the voice actors the movie chose to represent each character. I thought that they really fit well. They acted just great, were very animated, but didn't overact. Asha is played by Arianadebose. Valentino is played by Alan Tudyk. I hope I said that right, Tudyk. Magnifico is played by Chrispine. Sabino is played by Victor Garber. Sakina is played by Natasha Rothwell, and Queen Amaya is played by Angelique Cabral. So I watched this movie with my husband and his best friend / cousin. The first thing that I noticed was that this mythical village of Rosas, or the Kingdom of Rosas, was a Mediterranean place. And they even mentioned this in the movie, but it doesn't exactly look like any Mediterranean vacation spot that you might have been to or seen on TV, like Mykonos, Greece, or Milan, or Paris, or Lisbon, because it looks very magical, obviously. It's just not right. Something's not right about it. But I'm an American and my husband is Portuguese, so it was really interesting to watch this with two actual Mediterranean people. And the first thing that I noticed entering into the movie, you hear the story where he tells the background of Magnifico and why he sort of started this village, which was great. Everyone here doesn't really know that he's a villain. And you find out that this is a town full of people from all different cultures, all different walks of life. You see people of all different races, and their wishes could be granted. So on the surface, that seems really cool. And in the movie, we see this kingdom that really appears to be a mixture of people, like I said, from all different walks of life. And judging from their clothing and the period of their fashion, and there seems to be a mixture of people who look like they could be, for instance, Greek or Roman or Western European of some way, but you also have people who look like they could have been from Kenya, for example, or Mozambique, or Angola, or even Egypt. At the very beginning of the movie, we see the protagonist has braids. Although fair-skinned, she looks black. So one of the first things that my husband asks is this girl black or white? And I said, well, she's a little Mediterranean girl. Obviously, later on, we found out that she has biracial parents and that her dad has passed away. The movie definitely gives off a little bit of Shonda Rhimes vibes. We know these periods for many Black people around the world, and especially those in Europe, would have been extremely difficult, but we know it's all allegorical. I think that Magnifico representing himself as this great leader and then revealing himself to be a villain also can be taken as a metaphor for that time of colonization, of imperialism, and authoritarianism. I really like that we get a nod to that, which Disney is always really good about doing that. It's just sometimes I feel like it's not overt enough. Like now we see around the world, there is a real attraction towards authoritarianism. And fairy tales have always been used as a tool or a mechanism to warn the masses of corruption power can manifest. So that's really good that the movie attempted to address this. I like the element of the star in the movie. Again, this is a spoiler. The magical star appears when Asha just feels completely defeated by the villain and seemingly has lost all hope. It reminds her of the power of hope, of teamwork, of love, and determination. The star for me almost represents the spark of hope. So it's after the magical star arrives that the forest animals start talking. Again, what's a Disney movie without talking animals? And they form an allegiance with Asha and her friends to help defeat Magnifico and restore hope. By the way, the bear is really funny. I love how diverse Disney movies often are. Asha even has a friend who is disabled. That's a great way to give disabled children and adults a good bit of representation. My only criticism was that they could have went ahead, for me, they could have went ahead and made Asha a fully Black girl. Why do I say that? Well, I often feel like Disney movies and shows, but also just generally in film and television, when it comes to displaying Black faces, Black voices, and Black life, they use these opportunities to represent a lot of demographics all at once. And that might take away from a focus on Black culture, which has been highly diminished and oppressed and ostracized for a very long time. And we often aren't afforded that representation in media. My mom and dad were two Black people, and almost every Black person that I know has two Black parents. I know a few biracial people, and some of them are in my family. And I'm married to a white man. Biracial people need representation too. But there's already a very significant amount of representation of biracial people on television and less of dark-skinned Black people. And what that does is it creates the model minority tension. This is a sort of phenomenon where if a Black person is shown on TV, often the lighter that they are, the more media will portray them as moral, as pure, and even as beautiful. It's all wrapped up in colorism and born of slavery and colonialism. And we see that reflected in society, not just on TV. And that needs to be eradicated. So with that being said, Disney also often portrays Black women and girls, but doesn't portray that many Black boys and men. Back in the day, I'm a millennial, we had things like Corey in the House, we had The Friend on That's So Raven, we had The Famous Life of Jet Jackson, for example. But we don't see that many boys in Disney movies and shows the way that we see Asha here. And often when we do, they're presented in a stereotypical way. Either they're playing football or they're rapping or they're playing basketball. And while that's all good, representation is good, it is very pertinent that the companies and the handful of companies that are driving these views on television and in America, around the world, really show how to be culturally literate. But even Disney falls into those traps of colorism and racism. Why couldn't Wish have taken place in Egypt or Ghana? What we're seeing in real time is a pushback from Black people to have history retold in a truthful way that doesn't place the beginning of Black and African history during and after slavery. It doesn't begin with slavery and it doesn't end with slavery. And it wasn't always attached to Eurocentrists. People are really just now accepting and understanding that we were fed a history that was skewed. Otherwise, I really enjoyed everything else. I enjoyed the allegory of holding on to hope or faith, teamwork, of bringing together different cultures for a common humanity, and of believing in a wish, something so simple but so true. You know that you want to bring your loved ones' wishes, you want to make them come true, and you want to strive to do the right thing and teamwork and have teamwork. And I thought that was a really beautiful, I thought those were really beautiful themes to bring to the movie. Now to review the music of Wish. Honestly, I think that there has been other Disney movies that had better songs, y'all don't kill me, that really make you want to dance, that were really musical hits. Let's say, for example, Coco, okay? Descendants, the new Aladdin, the new Little Mermaid, and even Disney TV shows and Disney Channel movies from way back in the day, like Camp Rock, like Cheetah Girls, like Jonas. Put the classics in there also, like from the original Lion King, the original Little Mermaid. These had songs that were catchy, and I definitely feel like Wish fell behind a little bit in comparison with those. So yeah, I think the music could have been a little bit better, and the diversity seemed to have some themes of colorism, as I discussed earlier. But otherwise, I really like the storyline. So I would definitely go ahead and give this movie an 8 or 9 out of 10. Despite all, okay, I really loved it. But to be fair, I would probably give anything Disney 8 or 9 out of 10. I would love to know what you guys think. Have you seen it? Does it sound like something you would want to see? If you haven't, let me know in the comments. And I can't wait to hear what you guys think. If you're new to the channel, do me a super huge favor right now before I leave. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and donate. I've enjoyed being here with you guys today. I hope you liked it. I will see you next time. Bye.